Aloha, everyone. The Wahiawa Whitmore Village Neighborhood Board number 26 is called to order at 7 o'clock p.m. We begin with our roll call.
When I say your last name, please state that you're present. Rasma,
Here.
Rancher, Harvest, Alinko, Slip Sylvia. Oh, thank you. Van Delzen, Kirk,
Here.
Umaki, Yamamoto, Ishikawa.
Here.
Okay, so we have 7 members present. We meet the quorum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the roll call, everyone. Moving on to item 2 on our agenda, our first responder monthly reports. I don't see our fire department. Okay. Okay, so we have no report from our fire department at this time, as well as with police department. HPD had notified us that they would not be able to attend tonight's meeting. So moving very quickly down our agenda is item number 3, which is our very, very special moment in time for us. Item number 3 on our agenda is the recognition of the Peterson family. I'm going to get emotional. I'm sorry, Mrs. Peters. Recognition of the Peterson family and their 114-year legacy of the Petersons' upland farm in Wahiawa. Can I ask the Peterson family members to come to the front, please? I see Mrs. Yeah. And Sharon, I'm not sure if. By the microphone, in front of the microphone, in front of the flags. Everyone, please welcome the Peterson family, the matriarch, Mrs. Peterson, and Sharon, who ran the business. You know, it's hard to put into words of what your family has done, not just for our community, but for the state of Hawaii, in all that you did with not just the eggs, but with many other things, with your soil and your, all the good harvesting that you did with Lelehua, with their agriculture program. So we really wanted to thank you. It's going to leave such a void in our community, but we love you so much, and we're happy that you can take a break and enjoy life, because you guys have worked so hard for our community and for your families. And I'm going to turn the mic over to our other board members if anyone has want to say something for 1 minute down the road. Say anything? I'll say something.
I didn't plan this, but it comes from my heart. I remember as a little kid, just a few years ago, coming to the Peterson egg farm at the behest of my parents saying, go get some eggs, go get some eggs. And I would come down there and, pick up some eggs and bring them back. And, the rest is history. The Manley family grew up with the Petersons, but I'm a lot younger than them. No, I'm just joking. Oh, okay. I'll pass it down. We're going to miss you, but you're still in our hearts forever.
May I say that your grandmother was like the neighborhood mom to Alan and Jimmy.
Well, again, this was not planned. But I just yesterday, my husband says, I really miss the egg farm not being there. We needed eggs. And we know it was fresh. We know you folks. We know that it was just a good community place to go to. And you will be so highly missed. But we know that you're still around. But the farm will be very highly missed.
This past weekend, our Lions Club had its annual breakfast. And for the first time ever, I had to go to Costco and buy 12 cases of eggs. Just wanted to let you know the Lions Club loves you and loves Peterson's. Thank you very much for all the years.
Hi, I'm Jin Yamamoto, and I just want to congratulate the Peterson family for over 100 years. Yeah, so it's been a long, long time, and we're gonna. I guess you won't get any complaints anymore about the chickens smell and waking up people early in the morning.
Well, it wasn't me. It was a county agent on the Big Island who taught all the farmers that Korean natural style of farming, where you use it's called lactic acid bacteria lab that you make with rice, and we just till it into the manure. And he said the smell would go away, and I didn't believe him, but it did. According to the neighbors, it did.
The problem is that you guys were there before the neighbors were there, and they didn't realize that they were next to a chicken farm.
And thank you for all the years of support for the whole community. Our whole family wanted to say thank you, and we were just so honored and overwhelmed by all the aloha from everybody. And it was very, very heartwarming, very emotional, but thank you so much for all the years.
Okay, last but not least,
I graduated from Lilliput again. Give it to-
so I have to share a naughty story. So this is, oh, maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago in my previous occupation. We were filming. I used to work in the film industry and I needed a chicken. I needed a chicken. So I came driving back to Wahiawa, knocking on Mrs. Peterson saying, Mrs. Peterson, I need a chicken. I need a chicken. And your husband was so kind. So he packed up 2 chickens for us to take back for the filming. And he did warn me that chickens are very sensitive. And I was like, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So we did the filming, brought out the chickens, made it. The chickens were really good, really good. Yeah, yeah, for a while. And then we put them back in the cage, and then we put them in a car, and then I walked away, and then I came back maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, and they had both passed away. The 2 chickens had, and I was horrified. I was like, oh, yeah. And I was so fearful to bring those the 2 chickens back. And I kept apologizing, to you folks when I brought it back. I said, I'm not sure what happened, but you did warn me that they're very sensitive to, heat. And we were out in the sun because we were filming in a yard, like it was a farmyard. So I will always remember that. And every time I saw, Mr. Peterson, he would kind of joke about, you're not here for chickens, are you? And I said, no, no, never again. But thank you so much for everything that your families, all your families, have done for this community. Thank you so much.
If I could just, oh, can I just give a short 2-minute story? Because, that smell, I love the smell of the chicken farm. I'm going to tell you, I went away to college. When I came home from college and I would wake up in the morning and smell the air, I went, I'm home. And I was home and I loved it. Thank you very much for welcoming me home.
And Sharon and Mrs. Peterson, feel free to stay or leave. The meeting can run long. I don't want you guys to be here longer than you need to because you can go sleep early tonight, right? You don't have to- But anyway, feel free to stay if you want. Thank you. Okay, moving on to our agenda number 4, our monthly reports. Starting off with Council Member Tukuta's office.
Hi, this is Nicole from the Office of Congresswoman Jill Tokuda. Thank you for having me. I just have a few things to report, and I'll drop in the full report in the chat. And it was sent to the chair earlier, I believe last week. So a few big things. On March 6th, Rep. Tokuda voted to pass a critical appropriations package to avert another government shutdown and maintain necessary resources for our islands. Altogether, Rep. Tokuda secured over $133 million in community project funding that will support direct needs related to disaster resiliency, transportation, youth services, nutrition, and environmental protection. So there are quite a number of those projects. I think 14 in total, and those are on the report that I'll be putting in, so you can look and see exactly which community projects got funded this year. Also wanted to put a plug in for the 2024 Congressional Art Competition. That is going to get started here pretty soon, and we'll begin accepting entries. It's open to all high school students in the 2nd Congressional District. So if anyone knows any high school students, have them come check out our website and get more information on that. And then this past month here, Rep. Tokuda visited Hilo to see the wall that heals. It was the traveling veterans memorial, Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And she also went and visited several of the Army Corps of Engineers projects throughout the district. And then if anyone has any questions, I'd like to also put a plug in for casework. If anyone has any issues with federal agencies, please come reach out to us. We're here to assist, at least if we can't get it favorably sorted, we can at least, find out why usually and get some answers, okay? And if anyone has any questions, please, I'll take them back and get you answers.
Thank you, Nicole. Stand by. Board members, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for being here. I wanted to know, with so many, there's been so much in the news lately about literally millions of illegal immigrants coming into the United States. And I wondered how many have been flown to Hawaii. And if not, or if they have, what is the Congresswoman doing to prevent more from coming?
Not aware of any immigrants, illegal or otherwise, having been flown into Hawaii. I know this came up, was it maybe last year? Someone had brought this up and we reached out. There was concern, or someone had heard that DOD or via DOD, they were sending folks here to Hawaii, and we contacted them to make sure and get clarification. And the resounding answer was no, that's not happening. Number one, it's very expensive, right, to house anyone or to feed anyone or to do anything like that here in Hawaii. So, that's not anything that anyone's looking to do.
Okay. Thank you. June had a question. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jun Yamamoto, and got this question about actually the federal halfway house that's being located in our area, being the first in the state for a federal halfway house. And during the hearings that we had right here in this place, everybody agreed that there was a need for the federal halfway house. Some people said that that was the wrong location due to the fact that that's a high drug sales area. And they said it wouldn't be conducive to the the clients that are trying to get away from drugs probably. So it would be a conundrum. Well, it looks like that the halfway house is going to be approved because it was approved by the city for the zoning variation. So if it's going to be approved, I'd like to ask the question, what kind of help can we get from the federal government in a way of maybe combating the drugs in that area? Because it would be beneficial to the inmates and to the residents if we could get rid of the drugs, or at least bring it way down. So that's my question.
Okay, I can bring that back to see, what kind of funding sources. Do you have any more information on the federal halfway house? Is it, I feel like I haven't heard about that being, or about a halfway house being maintained by the federal government. It may be put together through
from what I
grants.
understand, there is none other in Hawaii. So this is going to be the first.
Okay.
Nicole, I can forward you some of the information they presented when they came to do their presentation. So I can forward you some of that information.
You know,
Okay,
because it would
great,
be a
thank you.
win-win situation if we could get help in combating drugs here.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then, do you happen to know what agency it would be under?
Off the top, I'm trying to remember. the
Cherry
name of it,
Shikawa?
But I can get back to you.
Okay.
Cherry
No,
Shikawa,
it's-
may I insert?
Yep.
Hi, aloha. And actually, that is a Keona Federal Reentry Center. It's going to be coming under the Federal Bureau of Prisons. The RFP has not yet been issued. And although a CUP was approved per the amendments and the requirements of the city, there is no start date for either the RFI, the RFP, or actual residents at the house. And it's not going to be a halfway house. It's going to be a federal reentry center. There is already a federal day check-in center that opened up on March 1st in downtown Honolulu. Now,
Okay.
these are not inmates, because once they have entered the federal reentry center program, they are no longer bound to the federal government as a prisoner or an inmate.
Okay. Okay. And so this would be kind of like some place to kind of get them oriented into being back into society type thing. Is that correct?
Yes, it's similar to that. We do have a number of Hawaii residents that are in federal detention centers right now, and there are no federal reentry centers since Mahoney's was closed down in 2019, when the state took back the building that Mahoney's had been housed in for over 30 years.
Okay. Okay. And so then the ask is, what kind of assistance can you guys get to help to clean up the neighborhood a little bit?
Correct.
Okay.
Basically, yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Okay. Questions from the community here for Congresswoman's office? Okay. Questions from virtual? Anyone with questions for Congresswoman Tokuda's office? Okay, seeing none and hearing none, thank you very much, Nicole. We'll give you updated information when those come up. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Aloha.
Aloha. Okay, moving on to our Army representative, Captain Cox.
Aloha, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Captain Cox here to represent the U.S. Army. One thing I want to quickly go over is our job fairs, and then move into any community concerns. So tomorrow at the Mililani High School, March 19th, there's a job fair at 8:30 for anyone within the community who's interested. And if you don't have time to make it, you could go to www.himwr.com. That's H is in hotel, I is in India, M is in Mike, W as in whiskey, R as in Romeo.com. And then for next month, so you could better prepare, because obviously tomorrow is coming up very quickly. April 18th. That's going to be our job fair in April, and that's going to be at the Honolulu Airport Hotel. So April 18th, and the time for that is the same as as tomorrow. It's going to be 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right, and then going off of last month's some of the community concerns brought up, want to hit on those. So a historic one that's been brought up every single month. It's kind of, I don't want to say bipartisan, but it's a joint effort between the Honolulu Police Department and then the U.S. Army, and that is dirt bikers within the community, as well as entering and exiting East Range, which is U.S. Army property. So this month, right on Rose Street, in front of the middle school there, we moved some concrete barriers that were moved by, we assume the trespassers so they can ride. We moved those back and we set up a brand new fence. And on the fence, we put restriction property and like re-notified in case people, if they were ignorant of entering federal property, they could see like warning, it's a restricted area, you shouldn't be coming. Will that ultimately fix the problem? Probably not. It can be moved, they can bypass it, they can go around it, but I did want to highlight that because that is U.S. Army garrison working towards the right direction to identify a trail and put a blockade. So wanted to highlight that. And then want to highlight some good news stories before I open it up to questions. Is some of our soldiers that love Hawaii and the things that they are doing that I think is worthy of noting. Every single month we have a group of people that go to have a beach, and they contribute to community feeding. Typically, within their month time, they go once every 2 weeks, and they touched about 400 families. As far as the donations and who makes this, it's a lot of spouses and people that just are very passionate and want to give back to Hawaii. And I think that's very special, and they brought that to my attention, and I wanted to highlight that to the community. Yep, pending any questions, I'll open it up to the community.
Board members, any questions for our U.S. Army? Go ahead, TJ.
Hi, thank you, Captain Cox, for joining us. And thank you for your efforts and for sharing with us what HPD and the Army Garrison is doing. I would also like to let you know that near the entrance of the middle school, you see an open area that has a banyan tree. If you walk toward the back of that lot, you'll see the fence, and you'll probably see the fence has been cut, and you'll see a dirt trail back there. And if you'd like to go take a look at it, I would offer you my services.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Just is that recently from when they repaired it, or
Oh,
that
no,
prior to?
it's been there for years.
Okay.
So it's not actually on the school property, although that lot is school property. So directly across the entrance to the parking lot of the middle school, you'll see a tree in the center of the area, and then along that fence.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that is the area that
Okay.
they just patched up. So hopefully it stays there for a while. The concrete barriers are pretty thick, so
Okay.
they'd have to cut the fence and then probably get some machinery out there to move the barriers, because that's how they place them. Once again, how long that will last, praying for a very long time, but we will see.
And would you also be able to provide an update for the area along the ag garden that runs on the upper part of the middle school? There were lots of cuts in the fence there as well.
Yes, ma'am. So I brought that up to the team. They didn't give, they haven't gone through and identified every single cut and what they're doing as of now to fix that. But I did bring it up to the team, and they're tracking. So
Thank you very much.
yes, ma'am.
Going to venture to say that the thing will be cut open by this weekend. Just to let you know, if the Army is going to send out periodic patrols, the best time would be on a sunny day, weekend, or holiday. When this weekend, I would swear there were at least a dozen people parked outside that area. So, with trucks and everything, and kids, more like they're having a party than trying to get away from any law enforcement or anything. Okay.
Yes, sir. And as you can imagine, since this is brought up every single month, I've been pretty adamant on, and more or less relentless on my team and getting with them on, hey, like, what are we doing necessarily, and the police, the HPD doing to get after this issue? And not up here to make excuses or defend actions, but it is a very difficult problem set. And I'll break it down in very simple terms in regards to just the manning that we have as far as military police. And then I'm not going to here to speak for HPD, but every single month they talk about their officers as well. And it really comes down to just properly guarding main posts of Schofield, as well as guarding ranges that are less used. And they do patrol out here, but essentially, if it's not being caught within the patrol, it's really hard to, they could put cameras up there, but once again, that's not justification to indict someone. So it really is a difficult problem set.
I
Go ahead,
understand.
Joe.
In particular, the area you're talking about, the fence repairs and stuff, that is not a prime concern of the military police, I'm certain, compared to the base itself. Yes.
Right. That's right, sir. And it's not that they do not care about East Range when I bring this up to them. They completely understand that, hey, this is federal property and we need to do our best to guard it. But it really comes down to just manpowers and the patrols. I'm not going to say we're at limited personnel just to guard main posts, but that is the priority. And just flexing patrols out here and officers out here to constantly monitor. They do multiple times a day, but as you can imagine, the people that are trespassing, they're probably very well aware of when the patrols come and how to bypass it. So,
Yeah. So how often are they patrolling, and how could that be increased? Is that a possibility?
sir, I'm not going to speak. I'll take that question back. How often they're patrolling and can it be increased? But I can give you kind of the very broad answer they gave me when I spoke to them this past week. What they're telling me, it's happening daily, but as far as increasing the patrols, they just don't have the officers to really increase it as of now without degrading the security on Schofield proper, which is, as you can imagine, that's more of the priority. So,
Is it something that could be looked into about getting additional funding or staffing to increase patrols there? And also, I mean, what the other concern is for the U.S. military and the Army and liability of people getting hurt on the property and stuff. So how does that play into everything as well?
yes, sir. And, once again, I'll take that back so I can have a better answer for you next month. But one of the things they brought to my attention is the funding. That is a big critical piece to it. Because my initial question is, if when they put up this new fence right in front of that middle school that we were discussing, and they were optimistic. However, they were very clear, like, we don't think this will fix the issue. People will go around it, cut a new hole, and a lot of the perimeter around our ranges are more terrain based. Whether maybe there's a river that could act as a natural barrier towards the property. And it came to funding, and then it came to a second point, which is it's very big and a legal issue, which is if we wanted to put a perimeter or a fence around the entire range, East Range out here, we're talking about destroying a lot of jungle because you got to get machinery back there to in place the fencing, and that's why they rely a lot on the natural landscape to provide it to be a barrier, whether it's a thick bushes or a river, you name it. As far as increasing the funding to do more patrols, I'll get you a better answer on that. Just because I don't want to speak on as far as budget, if that's something we can look to do. But, sir,
Understanding that actions on the Army base itself, or the Army's concern, the main problem is actually a community concern that belongs to HPD to control access to that area, and they are not doing a very good job of that. Thank you.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't defer and be like, hey, it's not all us, or it should be more HPD. It very much is a joint effort between both U.S. Army and HPD.
Yes. Yes, that's the perfect answer. Thank you very much. Okay, community members, yes, if you need to come up to the mic and introduce yourself. The lady in the back. Thank you. Wait, come to the mic and introduce yourself. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Albertina. In light of all of this, I do live on Rose Street and the bikers are a big concern. However, at least they're doing something, that's not keeping them out of trouble. But anyways, rather than working with the HPD and the Army, has anybody reached out to Department of Education? Because that property is DOE as well. That's it.
That's a very good question, ma'am.
Thank
And
you, Albert.
I don't know, but I will ask. So thank you.
Thank you for DOE. Yes, no, wait, go ahead. To the mic.
Hi, I'm Diego. I'm working with Representative Amy Prusta's office. I can kind of answer the question with working with DOE. We are trying to schedule a meeting with the colonel, HPD, and then the principal at Lelahua and the middle school. But it's been really hard to nail down times for all those busy people.
Thank you, Diego. But it's good to know that there are people trying to work on this. Go ahead.
Okay, Liz McCarthy. So I talked to the garrison this week. I have a meeting with the commissioner of HPD on Wednesday. I keep getting tired of everybody not being accountable for anything. I've talked to the DOE. I'm telling you, these kids are doing this illegal. They are all over DOE property. They're all over your property. When I talked to the garrison, she gave me every excuse. We go over the property. We never catch anybody. We never see anyone. If they cut the hole, we put wire on top. I told her, well, we don't need a wire on top. They're riding a motorcycle. The kids are all over that DOE property. So I said, how about we send a letter home to every student in Mililani, Wahiawa, wherever in the area, and just say, your child, if they're on a motorcycle going on illegal property, will be prosecuted. Maybe that's something. Let the parents know they're going to be accountable and their children are going to be accountable. But I am bringing this up Wednesday with the commissioner. I have an appointment. So I don't know what else to do, but we're sick of it.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's never ending and something's got to be done. Why are we not holding children accountable for being illegal?
So I was going to say, Liz, thank you for your comments and that you've already, you've reached out and are going to.
I'm going to keep coming till something's done.
Yep. But I do want to say, even though you say that nothing's done, I do want an acknowledgement that the military has tried to do something with HPD. So at least we're trying to do something. So I think it's.
Well,
not-
there's
it's-
nothing changing. Let's say that.
Well,
Nothing has
but at least
changed in 2 years.
They've made an effort to, well, not in 2 years, I'm just saying recent effort, right? So, and whether that
Well,
fencing
I
just
was
got.
out there
recut-
yesterday. The kids are all over it. In 15 minutes of me walking down to that street, there were probably 25 kids. And they all hang out back on the school property. And then they zoom on to the military property.
And so
So-
that's where the mix.
No, but
comes
you
in.
guys
No,
got to know,
I
it's
understand.
happening.
Yes, I've actually driven down there too, so I'm saying.
No, but you don't
but-
live there. You don't live it every day.
Correct.
Okay.
I never said I did, but I'm just saying that at least you've got your meeting. That'll be good progress. We've got some progress from the military and HPD. And if it is the school, like you said, to reach out to the teachers, maybe that is something that, we can talk about when, maybe after you come back from your meeting to let us know what, was revealed in your meeting and what they can do as well. And then what the neighborhood board can, if it's a letter from us or support from us, or what can be done. Maybe we can hold a community meeting. We've done that before. So maybe that would be another option. We've had community meetings with over 100 people on other issues in the past. So maybe this is an issue that needs to be addressed in that format as well. So we can talk about other options too, and we'll see what we go from there. Yes, go ahead, Joe.
Liz, are you meeting by yourself with the commissioner or? Okay, feel free to bring up what Jeannie just mentioned.
My name is Arlene Carioca. I live on the corner of Rose Street, Rose Place. And I see everything going on. HPD, the bike riders, everything. I'm retired, so I watch every single person, everything. I know my entire neighborhood because I walk my dog. Okay, so my question to you is, I'm military over 35 years, okay, with my father. When, if and when the patrol people catch these culprits or whatever you call them, what will be the consequences? Is there a because it doesn't make sense for you to patrol and to waste your money and you catch them and there's no consequences because you're not HPD. You're, military police, but you do have jurisdiction on your property. So I want to know what would be your consequences.
Yes, ma'am. And to your point, I'm not law enforcement. I'm not a military police. But from how I understand it and how they explained it to me when I was discussing this with them last week, so they do during a patrol, they do see someone, they do catch someone. You know, they bring them in. They write them a citation. They'll notify the parents. Your son or daughter is on military property illegally. This is what they're doing. It's a citation. And I'm not, once again, I'm not gonna, don't quote me, I'm not legal, I'm not a military police, but from what I'm understanding, that's what they do. And if it reoccurs, it's the same individual, the citation can increase to a fine. If it's a third time, then it can increase to something more severe. But yeah, a citation is the initial.
So the citation is a great, result. But, what if also you have a military person that, is there a worse consequence for that military personnel? So if you have your son get caught on that military, would there be a worse? I mean, I don't know, because during my time, they would go to the head of the whatever and turn my husband, Yeah, I mean, do they have this? I really don't care.
Yes.
But, the consequences for military is much more, I guess, strict.
Yes, ma'am. If a U.S. service member is breaking into U.S. property and he will not get a citation. He would receive UCMJ and definitely more than likely probably get kicked out of the service over that. That's more severe. However, what our military police can do to civilians is less severe because civilians, of course, don't fall under UCMJ.
I like
Now, and obviously, I don't want to play what ifs
Yeah.
with you, because once again, I'm not an expert. This isn't my field necessarily in law enforcement, but obviously, depending on what that individual is doing, whether he's vandalizing or personally trying to destroy property, that citation it might be more than a citation. But as far as you see someone on a dirt bike, whether he's entering or leaving, it would be a citation from the information I gathered from him.
Because when they bring up sending a letter home, I lived in Wahiawa 60 years, 70 years. So went all to every single school. So when they send a letter home to the parents saying, that we have a real big issue regarding dirt bikes, this whatever, I suggest, I mean, I don't know, the DOE suggests that they're tell them what the penalties would be, especially if you're military. And I'm sure if you're military, you wouldn't want your kid to be caught. Okay,
But-
thank you. But then the other thing I wanted to.
Wait, can you let someone else speak? Because it's supposed to be 2 minutes maximum. Okay, when you can come back up after, okay, anyway, it's just to give everyone a chance. Anyone else?
I'm Cody. So I was thinking about, like, when I deliver on Schofield, your guys' fences has like a reinforcement. It's like a reinforcement thing that goes across the midsection of the fence. Would that be an option?
Yeah, I wanted to present photos to the community here, and so you guys could see exactly what they did right in front of the middle school in Rose Street. But I believe It's hard to confirm without the photos,
think-
but I believe that's kind of what you're talking about. It's a very reinforced.
Well, it's
Uh,
around
fence.
all the fences in Schofield. So like, I think it's like if someone was trying to ram the fence, they
Mm.
would reinforce that car from going through and then give you guys time to react.
Okay.
So maybe that reinforcement can go on the center of the fence since they're cutting it, and that'll at least take away the bike.
Yeah, it very much could be, and I'll show you the photos afterwards if you want to take a
Alright.
look at it.
But
Is
that's
that
not
like-
why I'm here. I've just figured I'd put my
No,
2 cents.
Yes, sir.
Is that like a,
Thank you, Cody. Thank you. Yes, come.
Just to give you a little history, there was a center. Oh, my name is Philip Riley. So just to give a little history, there was a center bar. They did construct a center bar and they tore it off. But the military did a really good job. I walked down there. I sometimes like to walk in there, and they have a sign posted that's warning people, which is the first time I've seen that. And they have very substantial cement barriers behind the fence. So if they do it again, it's going to take a lot of effort. But just to let you know, I go down there and I sometimes pick Lilikoi. I don't know. So that's it.
Thank you, Philip. Anyone else? Okay, okay, because we still have to go virtual.
The problem with reinforcing in one area is that, again, they'll cut through another area. Example, the military doesn't have jurisdiction over the where the Fish and Wildlife Department of Naturalization or Natural Department. Yeah. On Lake Wilson side, because there's an open fence, they ride through that open fence, they go around, and then they go on military land. So if we reinforce one area, they'll just cut through another area. Tell you the truth.
Thank you.
And
Jane.
in fact, there's several holes right now, probably on the campus of the middle school where they cut through. And as soon as the state mends it up, they cut it again. So even if you enforce that area by the banyan tree, they'll go around. They'll do it someplace else. So
Thank
that's
you,
it.
June. Thank you, June. We're going to go virtual to see if anyone virtually has any questions on this topic. Okay. Okay, no questions virtually.
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, Captain Cox, maybe what Mrs. Tarioka was saying, maybe we do need to detain them, and maybe their parents do need to be inconvenienced when when they need to pick up their child on base or, God forbid, Fort Island. But, and even with HPD, because I've had multiple conversations with them, maybe we do need to inconvenience the parents. And if that means citing them and throwing them into a squad car and detaining them and having the parents take time out of their day to come and pick up their child at the police station or again at the MP office, whatever you call it. I think we should look into that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions? I think we have two on the table as far as possible topics to continue discussion. One is with the military enforcing, the violation and/or the letter to the parents, whether it goes to the parents so that it's straight across, every parent will find out, what is going on. And, parents don't like to get letters, from the schools of potentially their child not behaving properly. So maybe those are two topics that can be discussed at Liz at your meeting. Maybe those are things that can be discussed, like you said, because you brought up the letter. I think that's always worked before. I mean, maybe it's been decades ago, but parents, they don't like to get letters like that. But so I think that's one. I think the other option could be, the military, but I really truly think the root of the problem is with the kids. I think it's more on our community versus the military. I think the military is trying to enforce the fencing and anything else to stop it. But really, if it's on our part as a community to try to figure this out and have some kind of resolution. So if you know, so after we can talk later after it and see what else, can be generated. But I think that's a good discussion on this topic for now.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think we've kept Captain Cox up here quite a while.
That's okay. No, I really appreciate it and the questions. I share y'all's passion, and I would love, before my time here and I leave, I would love to see, this resolved. So
Yes,
I-
that would
I
be,
share your
put that
passion.
on your checklist.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody, he can't leave until we get everything done. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but thank you very much. And seriously, thank you very much for your,
Thank you.
your service. Thank you. Very good. And calling up our other military partner, the U.S. Navy. Hi, Jim.
Well, hi, everybody. I'll be providing you with their Navy update for this evening. So the Navy continues to work with stakeholders and regulators on the operations and work regarding Red Hill. Working with regulators, EPA, Department of Health on the tank closure planning. That's the next phase in the process. So the Joint Task Force Red Hill, which was assigned with actually defueling Red Hill, they actually are going to be passing it on to now the Navy Closure Task Force. So actually, March 28th will be when the Joint Task Force will officially turn over responsibility officially to the Closure Task Force. As of March 6th, Joint Task Force Red Hill has safely removed 61,000 gallons of accessible residual fuel. So there was the gravity-fed fuel. That was the majority of the fuel, but then you had the residual. So they've removed most of that, which represents the removal of nearly all of that fuel, roughly 6 months ahead of schedule from the official original defueling plan. So for the Joint Navy Closure Task Force, I just want to repeat their website because you'll find a lot of information about them on that website, www.navy-closure-taskforce, it's all one word, .navy.mil. And the primary mission of that closure task force will be the careful transition with the Joint Task Force to ensure a safe and secure process, and also ensure that the community is informed of that process, continuing to do that, removal of the remaining residual fuel, and then remediating the natural environment of the Red Hill site to determine what's going to happen once Red Hill is closed officially. What's the next step in that process? And lastly, as it relates to Red Hill, the Navy will continue long-term monitoring of the drinking water system for the residents. Those results from that monitoring are posted on the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam Safe Waters website, which is JB Bravo PHH safewaters.org. And the Navy will continue to work with our regulators, as I said, at the Department of Health and the EPA to provide safe water. That is why the decision was made by the Navy to extend that drinking water monitoring plan. It was supposed to end at the end of this month, but the Navy will continue to operate that monitoring plan. One last item that I'd like to point out that's not specifically Red Hill related, but there is items about Red Hill in there. I have copies of the first edition of our new public affairs newsletter, which we're calling the Mo'olelo, which is on the table over here. And we'll continue to provide information on the Red Hill closure process, but also activities with wounded warriors is in there, events that are happening over at PMRF involving wildlife conservation and other conservation efforts around Hawaii. And also a weekly history segment, which is near and dear to my heart because I'm the Navy historian, to highlight the legacy and the passing on of stories of those who've served through the years and just kind of give you an overview of the history of Pearl Harbor. Just very short little snippets in there. But again, that is right over here. I have several copies over here. I'll bring more copies if I need it. Also, Madam Chair, I know I sent you a copy of that as well. So that concludes my report, but I'm standing by for any questions.
Thank you, Jim. Question? Yes, go ahead, Joe.
Thanks, Jim. The closure task force and the water testing, are these primarily civilian operations under control from the Navy?
So the Navy Closure Task Force is a Navy function, but again, we are still under the regulation of the Department of Health and the EPA. So it's not a exclusively Navy project.
That's what I was after. Thank you.
Thank you. And Michelle, go ahead.
Several months ago, there was an organization that came that they said they were compiling information on or input from people on what to do with the Red Hill facility after it's all empty and everything.
Mhm.
Is there any update on what people want to do with it?
I will have to come back with that information. I'll have to check on that and give you a better update on. I know it's being discussed, and I know there was a list of possibilities as to what could be done with that site. I don't have those with me unfortunately right now, but I can make a note of it and make sure that for the next board meeting, I give you an update on that.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, turning to the community, any questions for our Navy partner? Okay. And virtually, any questions virtually for our Navy? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you all. Hello.
Moving on to our Board of Water Supply, Nicole.
Aloha, Chair, Board, residents, and guests. Nicole Rodwell, Board of Water Supply. There was one water main break in the Wahiawa area in February. On February 1st, a 6-inch water main installed in 1920 broke at 187 Kamehameha Highway. This month, I just want to tell you guys about the World Water Day. Board of Water Supply and participating city agencies are observing World Water Day this Friday, March 22nd. The theme this year is Water for Peace. So the internationally recognized event encourages water users across the globe to make a difference by changing how we use, consume, and manage water in our lives. So during this period, you can join us at boardofwatersupply.com/World Water Day or on our social media, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, to read inspirational stories, watch videos on the global water and sanitation crisis, find out how climate change impacts our water, and get conservation tips. So we are partnering with E&B, which is Department of Environmental Services, and the Offices of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. That's all I have this month. So if there's any questions or concerns, I'm happy to take them back.
Any questions from the board for Board of Water Supply? Hearing none. To the community, any questions for Board of Water Supply? Okay, and turning to virtual, any questions for Board of Water Supply? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Okay, and moving on to our State Department of Transportation. I'm not sure, Fawn, are you on? Okay, moving on to our item number 5, which is our residents' concerns and community announcements. Anyone with a resident's concern or an announcement to make? Yes, please be sure to come up to the mic, introduce your name, introduce yourself, give a name of your organization, and then you have 2 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Albertina Lindsay, community member. I live on Rose Street, so back to Rose Street. So anyways, I'm here today to voice and advocate for speed bumps on Rose Street, on our street. I heard at the last neighborhood board meeting, it was mentioned that Rose Street is not considered a busy street. However, I respectfully disagree. And I am asking the board and the community to reconsider this so-called assessment that was given on the street. So first of all, I would like to know when the last assessment took place and how it was conducted. Because when me and my family and some of the community wrote a letter back to Heidi Soneishi's office back in 2021. On July 27th, we got a response. July 27, 2021, we got a response. And in the email, Kelly Anaya, who works for council member Heidi Soneishi from before, I know she's not in office now, she stated that a request to the DOT was submitted to warrant speed bumps on our street, but we haven't had any follow through or any email after that date that was the last contact we had with them. Foremost, our street is home to Wahiawa Middle School, which brings with a significant amount of pedestrian and vehicle traffic. Wahiawa Middle School has 717 students, along with 90 faculty and staff. This is 807 people that's commuting on our street Monday through Friday, excluding Saturdays and Sundays when there's school activities and sports, which Lelehua High School utilizes the baseball field back there. So I'm not sure on those numbers. This doesn't even include the numbers. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. This doesn't even include the high school students who use Rose Street to go up to local to access Iliwai to get to the high school rather than walking on that main street. I conducted my own assessment on Tuesday, March 12th, just for my own reference, between 5:52 p.m. and 6:20 p.m., because I wanted to see what the traffic would look like during non-school hours. And between that time of 28 minutes, a total of 71 cars passed through Rose Street, with 42 of them only using Rose Street and 29 going between Rose and Local Drive. At the corner of Rose Street and Local Drive, there is a stop sign that is adjacent to a crosswalk. Unfortunately, cars are frequently disregarding that stop sign and speeding through the intersection. For instance, in 2022, a speeding car lost control coming from that turn and hit my mailbox and banged my fence. Yes, I'm the one. And I know there's members and a lot of we have members that live on Rose Street as well, and a lot of people here from Rose Street tonight. Anyways, during the late hours, there are incidents of cars drifting at the corner of Rose Street and Local Drive, as well as near the middle school turnabout. From the middle school up to Rose Street, there's also drag racing that's happening in the middle of the night. Despite my multiple calls to the police department, the response has been insufficient, and despite the posted speed limit signs of 20 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour, it's evident that many drivers are disregarding these signs. We don't even have a school zone sign that's posted up on our street. We did, and somehow it got knocked down. This does pose a serious risk to the safety of everyone in our community, especially our children who may be playing or crossing the street. Fortunately, nobody's gotten hurt yet. Speed bumps will effectively slow down the traffic, encouraging drivers to adhere to the speed limit and making our streets safer for everyone. I urge the neighborhood board meeting to reconsider the assessment that was spoken about last week or last month and prioritize the safety of our community by approving speed bumps. It's essential that we take these proactive measures to address the issue of speeding before a tragic accident does occur. Furthermore, I'm almost done. 1 second, please. On Lemi Vai Street, which is right behind Foodland, there are already speed bumps that are installed on that street. While Lemi Street serves as a back road, you know, for all of us coming into Wahiawa, we do use that road. It has fewer homes compared to Rose Street, which experiences significantly higher pedestrian and vehicle traffic, with approximately 17 homes on Lemi Vai Street compared to the 63 homes on Rose Street, not including Circle Drive and Rose Place. We have more of the traffic coming through. It is evident that Rose Street warrants similar safety measures, if not more, compared to Lemi Vai, as well as Royal Palm and Neil Avenue, or Glen Avenue. So that's all I want to say. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you.
I want to tell you, if you're able to, can you wait till after the meeting and I'll
Yes.
talk to you, because the speed hump or speed bump, there's a difference between a speed hump and a
Yes.
speed bump. And in the past years, working with the different neighborhoods, we were able to get speed humps and speed bumps, depending on where, on 7 different streets. But it's a process. It's a process. So if we are gonna do that route, there are several things that we have to discuss. And it is a process, but we were able to get Lemi Vai, all of those, Royal Palm, Glen Avenue, further down, you know, so there were 7 streets that this board was able to get speed humps or speed bumps on it.
Yes.
So if you are able to stay a little bit later, then we can
Sure.
talk a little bit more.
Actually, and we did bring this up to Amy Perusa's office. She has visited our street several times. She's worked closely with my other half about the speed bumps as well as some other things, but we still had no follow through with it. So thank you.
Okay.
Sure. If you're going to have a quick meeting,
Mhm.
I'd like to be part of that
Yep, sure.
since
Yep,
I'm the
absolutely.
Rose
Yes,
Street
you live
person.
on that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. Very good. So I think next was,
Aloha. Aloha Chair Ishikawa, members of the board. My name is Brian Miyamoto. I am the Executive Director of the Hawaii Farm Bureau. And although I'm not from Wahiawa, my family moved to Mililani in 1978, and I am from Mililani, and I'm just giving some context. We are looking for a new home for the Hawaii State Farm Fair. 1962 it started. We are looking for a new home, and we're hoping that Whitmore will be the new home. The reason I bring up Mililani is I hold Wahiawa near and dear to my heart. When I was growing up in Mililani, there wasn't anything in Mililani, so Wahiawa was dear to my heart. So I understand the community. I think I do. My family still lives in Wahiawa. This is the first time I've been to the district park in a while, but I used to play PAL basketball as an elementary school student, and in the baseball field, junior AGA. And of course, I played baseball in high school, so we played against Lelahua. So again, Wahiawa, Whitmore are dear to my heart. 1962 is when the farm fair started. I'll keep it really quick, and we are going to request for a full presentation at your next board meeting. Wahiawa has a rich history of agriculture. I just saw banners for the Pineapple Festival, which also helped when it was here at the district park. And then I saw the Kunia Orchid Show. And our office, the Farm Bureau office, is right in Kunia at the old Del Monte. So I'm here in Wahiawa once or twice a week. So again, I really appreciate what happens here. But we are in our 59th year. Okay, Farm Fair was at McKinley High School, moved over to Aloha Stadium, moved over to Kapolei, Bishop Museum. We spent the last 9 years at Kualoa Ranch. Unfortunately, we're not part of Kualoa's ranch's plans, so we're looking for a new home. Our 59th year, we did put it on hiatus last year because we're looking for a new permanent home, and we are asking the board for their support. We're working with ADC, and we're looking to hopefully house it at Whitmore Village. Again, it's the farm fair. It is not the carnival. It's not the 50th State Fair. We haven't worked with Ike Fernandez. It is a true agricultural fair. It's a state fair that promotes and does outreach for agriculture. We partner with the 4-H, with the Department of Agriculture, with the FFA. We would welcome community involvement. I work very close with Jackie Freitas up at Lelahua High School. We have a Kiki Farmhands. It is a farm-friendly family event. We see a lot of families, a lot of strollers. Again, it's not the Midway Carnival. Biggest plant sale, we do a country market, which is a big farmers market, the 4-H livestock, so we worked with the 4-H students, exhibition booths, local food booths, and again, we would encourage the community, this community to partner with us to do some fundraising, and we have ag entertainment. When we talk about entertainment, local acts, but also ag contests, watermelon eating contest from watermelon grown right in this area, chili pepper eating contest, and also corn husking contest. So it is an agricultural fair. If you haven't seen it in years, it is an ag fair. It is not a carnival. It's not the 50th State Fair. We will do a full presentation. I do have the program from our last year. You can see the events that we have. I do have a printed slideshow that has pictures of all the different events. It's for local families. It is about agriculture. It's a true agriculture event. And again, Chair, if the chair and the board is willing, we would like to come and do a full presentation at the next board meeting in May. We understand there's not one in April.
Correct. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the announcement. I do want to ask one quick question, and then only because we do have a line of other people. But Ryan, I know you mentioned Whitmore. Are you taking into possible consideration Wahiawa District Park to have the farm fair at? Would that be a part? And if I mean, I'm just asking, is it?
It hasn't. I do recall we did the Pineapple Festival here. Again, we're right now we're looking at Whitmore, but we would consider different options. We just want, I mean, 1962, it's almost 60 years. This is a staple of Hawaii. It used to be 10 days. It is only 2 days. It's usually the second weekend in July. So this year would be held on July 13th and 14th. We understand traffic may be a concern. We work with HPD. We hire 10 HPD police officers for every shift. And we also do contract with Elite Parking. They do the parking for us, so that we can move people off of main roads into the parking. We're looking at anywhere from 5 to 10 acres. It is a small footprint. I do have a picture of Kualoa Ranch of what it looked like, and I can share that with the board. I do have copies, Chair. And again, we will do a full presentation if the board allows us to come back.
Yeah, we'll get you on the agenda for our next meeting as we discussed. Okay.
And also really quick, it is just 9 to 5 p.m. So it's
Okay.
not a late night event. It doesn't start early in the morning either.
Okay, very good. Thank
Chair
you. so much.
Ishikawa, I'm sorry. Brian, I'd like to offer you my number. I do have an alternative site that you can come and talk to me about, because traffic in Whitmore is already a nightmare. And I have gone to a number of your events with the farm fair. So please give me a call. And I do have an alternative site in Wahiawa that will not have the nightmare traffic that Whitmore Avenue has with just one way in and one way out. So thank you.
Thank you, TJ, and good seeing you this evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank
Sir,
Oh, I'm sorry.
The Pineapple Festival, I believe, is a copyrighted title belonging to the Historical Society of Wahiawa. So if you're going to use that, I'd start making contact in Wahiawa.
I'm sorry, I just referenced that Farm Bureau did support the Pineapple Festival. We're not looking to take over the Pineapple Festival. I just said that I saw some of the banners, and again, it's just referring to the rich history of agriculture in this area. In no way are we looking to compete with the Pineapple Festival. In fact, we work closely with Dole, with Maui Gold, with the remaining pineapple growers here, and we would welcome anyone who wanted to be part of the fair that had any agricultural component to them.
Thank you. Yeah, June?
Have you considered ADC land that's not currently under cultivation right now? There's a lot of area.
Member Yamamoto, in fact, the land that we're looking at is not currently under cultivation, and we do have some maps in here that we are in early stages. Quite frankly, we tried to go back to McKinley and we didn't get the reception that we're hoping to get back. And
Okay.
We should
Thank
talk.
you. Okay, thank you, Ryan. Okay,
thank you.
okay. Hello.
Hi, my name is Wendy Gady, and I'm the new executive director for the Agribusiness Development Corp. And while I was not raised here, it is home to our second, third, and fourth generation family members. I just came to introduce myself. Also let you know that as of today, we have opened applications for land. 80% of ADC land is currently under license. The other 20% is up, it's open, it's on the website. Fill out an application. Within 30 days, we will be starting to make visits and make decisions.
Oh, good to know. Is there a phone number, email that you want to put a shout out on?
I would just say go to the website so that you could look at the land before you call it, because it basically gives you a map so you can look in and then ask
To the
call
ADC
office.
website?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hello, hi.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Chris Bailey with Leeward Community College. I'm the manager of the Wahiawa Valley Added Product Development Center. Just a couple quick updates from the center. First, as we near opening, I'd like to introduce one of our new team members who you'll see, day to day at the center working alongside me, Naomi Blue Summers. She comes with a robust background in food science. Naomi, do you want to share maybe a couple items about yourself?
Sure. So my name's Naomi Blue Summers. I grew up on the windward side, went to UH Manoa and graduated in food science. Have gotten experience in the food industry and am so excited to be part of the Wahiawa Value Added Product Development Center and helping students, entrepreneurs, community members such as yourselves who may have an interest in food product development and just answering your questions, showing you around the facility once we open. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. Second, had a quick update on our upcoming opening ceremony and blessing. It is set for Friday, April 12th at 3:30. Members of the board, you'll be receiving an invitation, but also I want to extend an invitation to the folks in this room as well. It will be going out via email. So we just request to get on the list if you could email vapdc@hawaii.edu, vapdc as in Value Added Product Development Center at hawaii.edu. It'll begin at 3:30. There'll be tours of the center and also the opportunity to meet some of the entrepreneurs we've worked with and see their incredible food products. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing everyone there.
One quick question for you.
Do you have any plans to shorten your name?
That's above my pay grade. No, I think, for the time being, we are focused on Wahiawa Valley Added Product Development Center. We wear that name very proudly. We look forward to being able to bridge that gap to our community around value added product development. So yeah, we take the name very seriously, but we hear you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Cody Tenorio. I'm a small business owner. I just opened up a skate shop in Wahiawa, 65 Walker Ave. It's through that green tunnel. Anyways, I'm here because our skate park, I feel like our community skate park is a vital space for skateboarders of all ages and skill levels. However, we believe that there's significant potential for improvement or construction of a new skate park. The benefits of a skate park is enhanced community engagement. It's also good for health and fitness. There's a economic impact and definitely youth development, which also skateboarding is now in the Olympics. So it's a Olympic sport. And I did bring my son. I have a team rider. And then I also have a friend I grew up skateboarding with. He's from Wahiawa. I was born at Wahiawa General. So I don't think it gets any more deep than that. But yeah, we're here basically to either A, get a new skate park, or B, improve the one that we have. The one outside, it's really unfunctional. Like you can't really get a flow going. You either do a trick and then you run into a box, or you do another trick, then you run into the rail. Like I'm a skater myself, so that's what's happening to me. So as far as improvements go, that's what I'm here for. So is there any questions or?
You want to say something?
Zai, check on bud.
Supportive of your.
So yeah, Easy Skate Co., Easy Skate Shop. His first two letters of his name is Easy, so everything's based off of him. But
So Easy, what do you think of what your dad is saying?
What?
What do you think about the skate park that we have?
It's not good.
Not good? Is it junk? Is it junk?
Yeah,
Yeah, why?
because every time I try to do something, I fall off the board.
Is it because it's too small?
Yeah, like the rail is like it just has a round rail, and then it's like I can't like the box, and there's like a rail on it, and then I can't like every time I try to board slide, I get stuck on the box.
Is it just only you, or that happens to your friends too?
Everybody.
Anything else you want to tell us about that skate park?
I don't know.
an extension would be nice. If you can't give us a brand new skate park, at least extend and improve the one we currently have. Being that, there's a lot more bigger problems going on in this world, but there are athletes that need a place to train, and it's often that people, like if a skater makes it to the Olympics, then the news wants to come on board. So I actually light up the skate parks all over the island because we don't have lights anywhere. I've been doing that for 4 years, for 2 weeks, or twice a week, every week for 4 years straight. And I've been doing it for him because by the time we're done with homework, he wants to go skate. And by the time we get in the car to go drive, it's already dark. And 90% of the times we're going to like Pro City, Hawaii Kai, Kapolei. Like, it'd be nice to just, for once, go down the road and enjoy this park. Oh, God. It is a nice hill.
Let me just ask you a question. If we do improve the skate park here, will you be our consultant? Will you help us improve it? Give us some ideas on how to do that?
Oh, yes, I have an army behind me, so.
I'd like your son too.
Oh,
I'm talking about your son. Is he willing to help us?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you too, sir. Just joking.
all right, thank you, guys.
Hi, David Wong. I want to advocate for the skate park. Former high school teacher at Lelehua. A lot of marginalized students who are my students find their way through skating, and it's become more equitable nowadays, especially for our female skaters, giving them an outlet. And so, and I know that Haliva Skate Park down there, that community has become very solid over the last several decades. And I think this community would benefit from an upgraded 21st century skate park, and it really help our kids out.
So we will, okay, I just want to say we will regarding the skate park, it is a city, the one that's here, it is under the city's jurisdiction. So in a situation like this, we would forward a request to, the city, our city representative. And it could go, if it's whatever kind of funding that is needed, it could go to, our representatives for assistance as well. So it is a process. I just want to let you know, but I get it. And I heard it from Easy that okay. So another meeting. Before you leave, please give me your contact information. Okay, thanks. Okay, and yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is a skate park in Wahiawa better than the one in Mililani? Okay, then yeah, skate park upgrade. We're all for that. Okay.
Your name first?
Arlene. Last month when I was here, you mentioned something about the 123 Mango property. I didn't catch who's responsible for that property now. It changed ownership. What was the name of the company or the organization who's responsible for the 123 Mango Street property that Alela Bridge used to have? I thought I heard something because that was one of my questions last time when I came last month, but I didn't have time to ask. Like there's that 123 Mango Street, yeah, Alela.
Yes, okay, it is Mango Street. I don't know what the number is, the street number, but it is Mango Street.
Yeah.
And that was it was like a bluish colored long.
Yes, who's in charge and who owns that now?
So right now, the organization that was running that operation is not in existence any longer, but they have turned over to another nonprofit organization who has been stepping up to kind of follow up. And I don't have it with me, but I can get you their name, that organization's name.
Yes, I wanted their name. And then is there who's in charge of the homelessness in Wahiawa?
Well, they were a big part of that equation, the original organization. They were a part of that equation.
Okay.
But, so now because they've left that that project, if you will, the new group, they're actually out of Waianae side and they do a really good job as well. But anyway, I'll get you that information. Before you leave, give me your contact and I'll
Give you, okay. And then, yeah, because I was just wondering what more can I do, in Wahiawa to assist them or help or to find out what's going on. And then the other thing is basically, I don't know, but the bike roads in Wahiawa, in California, going up, do you think those need to be like fixed, like painted? Because when I'm driving, I'm looking, I'm like, that's the bike road. And then when I'm in Kapolei, I see these big signs that say, when you're turning, be careful when you're turning because the bike road. So I just thought, I'm just getting a little less, I need my glasses and stuff. So I just thought maybe that might be looked into, maybe improving that for the pedestrians the bike riders.
So this is interesting because that came up at last month's meeting and the idea was nobody uses those bike lanes.
Yeah, they just cut across.
Yeah, so just whether we need them or not. And now you're asking whether we should repaint the lines.
Well, either
I think
take
it's a
them off,
discussion. Yeah.
take them off, or
So
repaint them because
we
it's
will,
kind of.
we will be, so that's.
I don't know if it's a bike lane or what,
Yes.
but
So
yeah.
we will have that discussion.
Great. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you
Don't
very
worry, we
much.
keep notes.
Yeah, because that 123 Mango Street is really bad, and there's a lot of homeless people out there.
Yeah.
So it's just really concerning because my friend is saying also now that they're coming up into their apartment buildings and sleeping, she can't leave anything, and I don't want the police to have to keep on arresting them, But I mean, there's something got to be done. So I'd like to try to get involved.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Noelle Sutherland. I'm a stakeholder in town. We've been 75 years in Hawaii with our family, Sutherlands from the North Shore, and only 25 in Wahiawa. So I'm on the tails of the previous speaker. I'm happy to say my son, who's now 28 in the Army in Georgia, came from Hawaii to go into the Army, and he was a shredder. He loved his skateboard time. So those things. I'm here today to tell you I'm a member of the Kunia Orchid Society, and we started in Kunia Gym. If anybody remembers that old building with the holes through the floor that you could see the dirt in and the termites holding hands. But I've been a member of them since those days. We used to go up from high school to see those wonderful displays, Ikebana and so on as well. Don't forget that this coming weekend, the 22nd and 3rd, Friday and Saturday at Lilihua Gym. And the good news, as usual, is it's free. If you happen to see some of those plexiglass stands, they just tell you the days and the hours, 9 to 4, both Friday and 1 hour shorter on Saturday for cleanup and sales and so on. And people go, can I go into the display and pick the one I want? I like the one over there that's got the prizes on it. And they don't realize that they can't literally step into the display. But all around the gym floor are vendors who've been growing orchids all year long just for this event. And to remind you that it's been 4 years because of COVID that we haven't done this show. So we're very happy to be back doing it. So please turn out. I'm going to stand at the door and see who all of my friends coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Nell. Nice to see you again.
Aloha mai kako. I'm Nathan Nahina. I grew up in Wahiawa. I'm supporting the improvement of the Wahiawa skate park. I grew up skating in Wahiawa when there was no skate park. They finally built one in Schofield. I remember getting escorted off the base because my friends didn't have helmets at that time, and they required helmets on the base. Besides then, they built this small park. It got rusted out. They rebuilt it, but the metal fabrication people, there was a miscommunication in the design, and the things that they chose as non-skateboarders is not functionable for skateboarding. And the sad thing is that there's no regulations on skate parks, like how there's heights for hoops and things like that. But that's the blessing and the curse, because that's what it's open for design, and that's the blessing and the curse, because if it's good, then it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But the space is just hard to deal with. It's the smallest skate park on the island per square footage. I'm gonna get all the actual measurements. This is just something I found out about the meeting recently, and just wanted to attend and be voiced. And this also stems from the fact that I live Ilima Street. This is only like 2 minutes away from us, but when I ask him where we want to skate, it's never Wahiawa Skate Park. It's Mililani. He's nervous to talk. I was gonna ask him a question, but I don't know if you
What's his name?
want to talk. Ryzen or Pahio. You want to say anything?
Ryzen, you want to come here? Come.
Pahio, yeah. Aloha.
Oh.
Yeah. Aloha Hawaii, Oya. So he attends Ke Kulakai Puni o Anuenue in Mapalolo. Just because trying to bring the language back to my family. That's another topic. Hopefully there was emerging schools closer to us. I know there's one in Wahiawa and Pro City, but then with traffic, it's hard to get to town if you go to Pro City, because now you're in the gauntlet. Anyways, I support the skateboarding endeavor, and I'm actually like one of the statistics of the kids that get caught in the cracks, because not all kids have parents or are able to go to practice on time at this time and do things on this schedule. Skateboarding catches those kids that come from broken homes, like myself. My mother had he passed away, but he smoked ice, basically. I'll be straight up, and it saved me. It gave me the bravery to be a non-traditional student. I got my computer science degree at UH Manoa. I'm a software developer, believe it or not. So I think outside of the box because I'm a skateboarder, and I have the determination to not give up because I'm a skateboarder, because it's a high level of difficulty, but when you get it, that's the reason why you do it. It's like because it's hard, and I think that's important thing to teach the kids. There's a lot of not easiness, but it teaches hard lessons in a healthy way. So just wanted to put that out there. Mahalo for your time.
Oh, go ahead. Wait, hold on, Joe. Hold on, one question for you.
Mililani skate park is relatively large,
Mhm.
and ours is very small.
Mhm.
Would you recommend something the size of Mililani or somewhere in between?
Whatever can fit, because I have friend, like we talked about this before, and I believe the area, you know, on the other side of the pool, there's that blank grass area. Because I think the side that goes down towards the basketball courts, there may be a water line there because the pool in the back, there's a drainage over there. But I believe the area in between the planters, the side of the back of the pool is that grassy area. That would actually extend a lot, like, of course, bigger the better, but just given the actual space, I think that would make a big difference, like being elongated that way.
Got a good ramp in there too, I think, by then.
Yeah, like even the existing wall can still be used as an obstacle, even if you like build over it or just knock down a section. You could still use that as a foundation to build more ramps as well. But
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
mahalo.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Shane. I have been awarded the illustrious honor of organizing the Pineapple Run this year. The big kind of change that we've made is we're teaming up with the Pineapple Festival. As you had mentioned earlier, you'd seen the signs and stuff. So the race will be on April 27th, the last Saturday in April. Nothing else is going to change, so it's still going to be a Ka'ala. The route will stay the same as it was last year. All of the logistical matters, everything is going to stay the same. We have the school for the morning until 10, and at 10 to 3 o'clock, the Pineapple Festival will kick off. I could talk for another 30 minutes about everything about it, but I think it'd be better just to, if you guys had any questions, I'm here.
Any questions, board? Any questions from the community?
It's a 10K, so about 6.2 miles. So,
Any questions virtually? No. Okay.
awesome.
Thank you
If you
very
want to
much.
sign up, pineapplerunhawaii.com. Register there. Easy day.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, can I speak?
Hi, Siva.
My name is Siva Tia from Ali Iter. I'm here to request the list of the people that I'm here to request a list of people that agree upon to build the pedestrian bridge over the Wahiawa to Whitmore. We're still waiting for that. For me, meeting that we say that he's supposed to bring us a list that people will. You say that you're going to bring the
so
list,
actually,
right?
So
we know who are against and who are not against the bridge, but we still never hear from anything yet. So, but anyway, so I will keep on coming to ask for that list, and also that we know that now the Wahiawa Hospital, the emergency room is closed. So what? All the people here, without any services, if something happened to you, your family, or me, or my family, or anybody that around here, that your family have a emergency, where you going to go? So the money that we spend to build a bridge, as I suggest that maybe we take that money, $35 million, to help the Wahiawa Hospital to rebuild the facility or build more people and more staff to stop that shutting down the emergency room. Right now, if you're sick or you got emergency room 10 minutes away from here, we can just go to Wahiawa real quick, right? Now we shut down that hospital. Now where are you going to go? The closest emergency room, where is it? Polimami or Honolulu or Queen or where? No, you know, Kapolei or. So it's very hard for people in central Oahu. So the money that we're going to build a bridge, we can just take it out and build and help the hospital, so that your family and my family, that in emergency time, you can have place to go. So that's my suggest to whoever that in charge of the bridge.
So Siva, are you going to be here for the next maybe 15 minutes or so?
Yeah, I will be here unless, you know.
The two presentations, two things I want to tell you is that we are going to get an update on the Wahiawa General Hospital. So we have Brian Cunningham, who will be giving an update of the status to explain what the situation is with the recent closure, the emergency closure that they had to do. The other thing is that we will be having a presentation on the pedestrian bridge. So we're scheduling that update and presentation in May. So please come to that meeting because that will be.
Okay,
yeah.
every time I say that, you can, this something can keep it, but never happened, so we hopefully will make it
Yeah,
happen.
so, yeah.
So anyway, so this is what my suggestions that, get the money away and give away to the hospital.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I think we're done for residents' concerns. We had
Chair Ishikawa?
abundance of, yes.
Just one announcement. On March 30th, there will be an emergency preparedness and amateur radio field day at the Mormon Church located on Lelehua Road, and that is from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Lunch will be provided, so come one, come all. I also left flyers on the front desk. If you didn't get one, please take one and come out and learn about how to get prepared with ham radio operators and things of that nature. And again, that is on Saturday, March 30th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 44 Lelehua Road. Thank you.
Thank you, TJ. Okay, moving on to item number 6 on our agenda, our presentation. We have our guest tonight is Brian Cunningham, the CEO of Wahiawa General Hospital. Hi, Brian.
Aloha, Chair, board members and community members. Good to be with you again. I have a very brief little sort of couple items I want to cover, and then we'll get into the questions that I'm sure you have. Well, I would just start out by saying it's well known that Wahiawa General has been struggling for well over a decade. There's been a lot of efforts by a lot of people, board members, all the staff, our legislators, Representative Caruso, Senator Dela Cruz, our council members, and all of you, support of all of you. That's what got us to here. Our board has known for over a decade that the only path to sustainability for Wahiawa General Hospital is through a larger affiliation partnership with a mission-driven hospital such as the Queen's Health System. So we're thrilled that we're getting closer and closer, very close to achieving that. You also very well know that Wahiawa General infrastructure has really struggled over the years, mainly around our HVACs, our air handling systems, all those systems that balance airflow, filtration, humidity, very challenging, very complex issues, especially in hospital. We've had issues several years ago, part of which led to the closure of WNRC. As you remember, that very unfortunate closure. A period of time after that, same issue came up in a different part of the building, and we lost our ICU and have not been able to open our ICU since then. We most recently had a temporary closure of our inpatient in another area of the hospital. So, I think everybody's pretty clear about the pattern here. It's an aging plant and facility that we have not been able to keep up with for well over a decade. And, part of the rationale for the need of a larger partner was so that we can begin to address these capital infrastructure needs that have long been neglected. As we've come closer to the acquisition, we were hoping to be able to have a smooth transition and to maintain the one critical service, our ED services. We knew getting closer and closer that there was going to be a closure, at least temporarily, of our inpatient and our outpatient units. But the plan and the hope was that we would continue our emergency department services uninterrupted. But we were struck with another building challenge as we got closer and closer. Last week, we found out we had some challenges to deal with. And the only fix that became clear to us was that we needed to shut it down for a period of time to help maintain and ensure the safety of patients and staff and to really expedite the process. So we made that difficult decision last week. We have worked with the whole hospital continuum of care on island. We have worked with all first responders, HHEM, incredible people doing their best so that there's a minimal disruption of services, that people of our community here can have access to emergency care services as soon as possible. But we know this is not the best case scenario, and we're doing everything we can to expedite getting it back up in service for all of you. I think I'll pause there. I'd rather spend the balance of the time taking your questions and responding.
Hey, are you ready, Brian? Because I think you may have a bunch of questions heading your way.
That's why I'm here,
Petition
yes.
from the board, Michelle?
Hi, Brian. Thank you. I was wondering, when would the ER be open back up then?
Thank you. I don't know the exact date yet. You know, once workers get up into the ceilings of some of our older buildings, many times they discover even more issues. My understanding at this point is it's going to be approximately several weeks, but I'm very hesitate to venture, even guess a date, because it'll invariably be wrong. But it's going to be at least several weeks. We'll keep you updated as we go along.
Hello, sir. Can you specify exactly what the problem was for the ER to be closed?
It's a combination of elements. I'm learning about this stuff as we go. These HVAC systems are very complex. There's mechanical parts, there's electronic sensors, there's electronic control boards, and it's a matter of numerous elements within and across the systems in that general area that are causing us to struggle to maintain our air balance, airflow, or the necessary filtration, heat and humidity. So when you start fixing any one part, it will throw off the balance of everything else. So you really need to address the whole system as a whole. And that's what the workforce is attempting to do.
Your ER is fairly new. It was state of the art. What happened?
It's fairly new. Wouldn't call
bigger
it state.
system?
Yeah, it's also connected to older systems. And as things age out over time, new requirements come into play, and we started to have some trouble there too.
Any other questions from the board? Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
What's the impact to the current staff at the ER, you know, now and then after the transition to Queens? Are they going to be furloughed or paid leave, and, you know, what's going to happen?
Thank you for that question. So we're several weeks out from our scheduled acquisition, and obviously we issued the WARN Act notice approximately, 45 days or so ago, and we are committed to supporting all of our staff through to the schedule of April 2nd. And given that the closure of this, our ED, directly impacted a number of staff in those areas and some staff that are connected with those areas, we obviously told them right up front, this is the issue, this is going to be the impact, and any staff that loses hours directly related to that will be paid for those hours.
So they would be paid throughout the entire time of the shutdown up until April 2nd, and then after as well for those ER staff. Is that what you're referring to?
What I'm partially what I'm referring to as what our commitment was based on the WARN Act is to paying everybody through the projected date of the WARN Act, which was the scheduled date of the acquisition, 12:01 a.m. April 2nd. So up to that point, while it is still Wahiawa General Hospital, through our commitments, they will be paid up to that date.
Okay, yeah, and that's your commitment. So then, are you able to speak to what Queens would do after that point, after they take over, or you're not able to speak to that?
That's a really good question. However, yes, I'm not able to. I'm not a spokesperson, nor do I have that information. Thank you, though. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, TJ.
Just a comment and then a question. So with regard to employees being separated, regardless of whether or not the WARN Act is in effect, I would encourage any and all employees who have questions to also reach out to the Department of Labor. There is a division for workforce development, and also there is a division that would deal with this kind of separation of service. So please reach out to the Department of Labor. And thank you, Brian. I was able to meet briefly as I had requested at the last meeting. But I wanted to ask, knowing the condition of Wahiawa General Hospital and its facilities, did the Board of Trustees or the Board of Directors not have a fiduciary responsibility to protect the assets of the trust? And in not doing so, where does that stand now?
I'm going to ask if you could, I get the gist of your question, TJ, but can you sort of clarify what you want me to speak directly to? If you wouldn't mind, please.
So the purpose of a board of trustees or a board of directors is to protect the asset of the trust. Being that the trustees or the directors did not protect the assets, being the building of Wahiawa General Hospital, are there any liabilities? Are there any legal actions that can be taken against the trustees or the directors? Because the loss of Wahiawa General Hospital first with the long-term care side, and now the ER being shut down so abruptly, and with a lot of the employees losing their employment, I would like to know where exactly do all the legal ramifications lay for the Board of Trustees or the Board of Directors?
Appreciate your question, TJ, and to self-disclose, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not equipped to speak to the direct legalities of your question. But what I can say in general about any board, they have a fiduciary responsibility to do their best with the organization that they are committed to serve. And this is just my perspective over the last 7 years, and what I understand about previous board history. Everybody has done their best. If this was the only hospital in the country, the only small independent hospital in the country that was struggling to keep up with capital expenditures, you might be able to make a case where it's this group or that group who are responsible. But this is multiple small hospitals in Hawaii struggle with the same thing, as you very well know. Not this current session, but the previous session, there were several hospitals that got large sums of well-deserved, well-needed monies to address HVAC systems and others. Hospitals all across the country are struggling. It's not a function of the board's fiduciary responsibility as it is as much as the challenge of reimbursement not meeting the needs of aging plants and facilities across the country. So I think our board and most boards across the country are committed to doing their best, but with too limited resources, they're not able to do it. What I would also add with our board is it was their vision over the last decade that determined that the direction of the hospital needed to turn towards developing partnerships and affiliations. And the good news is that is about to come to fruition. If everything works as both organizations are planning, Queens will come into the picture soon, and as you can imagine, it's going to be a bumpy transition. It already is, but the longer term outlook for Wahiawa General is bright, and I think it'd be valuable to focus there. But I do appreciate your question, TJ.
Thank you very much. And again, we look forward to progress as Queens Health Corporation comes into our Wahiawa. And I would again ask that for as many positions as will be filled by Queens Health Corporation's employees, that same number of positions also be filled by community members here in Wahiawa.
Thank you, TJ. And I can also add, TJ, I appreciate your announcement about reaching out to DOH and Dislocated Workers Act. We've had them in our building several times already. We're working with our unions who are bringing in help for resume writing, applications. Queens Health System actually sent their HR team out here 3 separate days recently, helping people apply through their portal. So you're right on to recommend that people reach out because there are resources to help.
Very good. Yes, go ahead.
So going along the lines of helping the existing workers with Queens and applying to, positions within the Queens Health System what's the general update with that?
We're not privy to the data, the information about how many people have applied. Obviously, that's a confidential process between any employee and Queens Health System. So we don't have that data. We know that they're being encouraged to apply across Queens System and in any other hospital or organization that would best for their family.
Okay, and one more question. Are you aware of what's going to be happening with any of the historical artifacts, specifically related to Wahiawa or Hawaii within the hospital, and what Queens is planning to do with those artifacts?
I am not. That's a big question happening now. We've been approached by many groups asking the same question. Right now, all those assets are owned by the Wahiawa Hospital Association, and they're looking at that issue right now. Queens, as they purchase the hospital, purchases all assets of the hospital, the building, the equipment. So we will be talking to the Queens leadership in the very near future about those items. And I assume, depending on their perspective on that, if they're in agreement with continuing or donating them to the WHA, they will be pulled down and collected, and then a determination made which items go where and to who.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any questions from the community? Yes, and please say your name.
Hi, I'm Marlene. I have two concerns. Do you think we should cover this sign that says hospital on the exit to Wahiawa in the time being, since there's no active hospital? Just thinking, because if you saw the hospital and you're driving, you're going, I'm going to go to the hospital, and there's nothing there. So just something. And then the second thing is when I was here last month, there was a nurse here, or a representative for the nurse, and she mentioned that there was asbestos in the building. So is that a concern that we need to be worried, that I need to be worried about, that the employees, my husband, could have been exposed to asbestos? Was there tests? I'm just bringing that up because she mentioned that last meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlene. Appreciate your questions. I'll do the second one first. As far as asbestos is concerned, as you're probably all well aware, there's asbestos in any older building in Hawaii and across the country. That was part and parcel of building materials back then. Most buildings, and Wahiawa General specifically, over the years, all asbestos has been sealed in, right? They have to cover it in certain ways. All lead paint has covered. So anytime we do any construction, any old building, we do it. We have to evaluate for asbestos, have it abated. So it is not a concern that we are aware of. We're not aware of. There's asbestos just doesn't float around. It needs to be delivered into the air through construction or something like that. So we do not have a concern with asbestos. It is all contained within the building. As far as covering signs, we're in the process of covering up our ED signs at this point. The hospital, remember, the ED is closed temporarily, but we still maintain our inpatient services and our outpatient services for these next several weeks. So we're not yet looking at pulling down all signs for that.
Thank you, Brian. And Arlene, I think the young lady you were talking about that was at last month's meeting, she was from the union. She was a union representative. Yeah. Okay, any other questions here? Okay, virtually, any questions for Wahiawa General Hospital? Okay. Seeing none. Okay, thank you very much, Brian. Have a good evening.
Thank you for your understanding. We'll be back in business for you. Thank you all for your support and understanding.
Thank you. Okay, we are in section 7 of our agenda, our elected officials. Can I call up Kevin from the mayor's office? Thank you.
Hello, Chair Ishikawa, Vice Chair, and board members. I'm Kevin Auger. I'm the mayor's rep. Couple announcements in the mayor's newsletter this month. The city's climate adaptation strategy was adopted. That's great news. We're also rolling out the mayor's town hall meetings, and I think May 16th at Wahiawa Elementary School, there'll be a meeting here. And in addition, last Thursday was the mayor's State of the City address, and that's available on the mayor's website on YouTube/Blangiardi. A couple of follow-ups but before I get to that, the skateboard park, boy, it's such a great idea. And Chair Ishikawa, rather than just presenting that as a memo to the department, It just seems like if the community is really behind that, it might be an opportunity, we could work with, Councilmember Wire and see if we could really do something. One of the things that the mayor learned and the administration learned from the last round of town hall meetings was how important park space and open space and recreation were to the communities. It was just really, I wasn't there at the time, but he talks about that a lot in the cabinet meetings, and I know there's a real focus on that. And it might be a real good opportunity for these gentlemen in the community maybe to rally around that. Not only, in maybe a letter to the mayor and council member, but also at the town hall meeting on the 16th. I think that'd be great.
And ditto on that, because actually, I was on that committee when that skate park was developed, and there was a lot of meetings and everything else. We went through that,
Yeah.
and we worked with council member at that time.
And it seems like
So-
it's really important to this community and the kids to give an outlet. I didn't know skateboarding was an Olympic sport. So I learned something tonight. So I think it's great, if we can get behind that. I'll mention it in cabinet on Wednesday morning.
Thank you very much.
We'll see what we can
That
do.
we can start the ball rolling.
Yeah. The other thing, while I was sitting here, while I'm new, obviously, to the neighborhood board meetings, but boy, this Rose Street and I'm wondering if because we sent the department notices out and we got the same response back from DTS. But as I'm listening, it seems like there's just a confluence of issues there. There's the dirt bikes. I know Councilmember Mendelson, the neighborhood board member Mendelson mentioned that there's a safe pathway that we're trying to create in that area. And then also the traffic calming measures. So I'm wondering if there's an opportunity maybe to roll all of those issues up, because it seems like it's a bigger issue than just the dirt bikes or the traffic calming or the safe streets. And I'm going to address that also. I'm going to send a note around tomorrow morning to the mayor and the MD to see if we can address it in a more comprehensive way.
Thank you.
If that makes sense. I mean,
I think
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity to bring up those issues, but they really are three different issues when you really, because the speed humps, and that took a process, because that, again, we worked with DTS to get that going. So
Yeah.
That was a process. When we had to do the bridge, that was another department, and then we also worked with ENV on another. So I think it's great to let them know that we have 3 or 4 issues going on here.
All related around
But
that.
all related, but separate. I mean, because the funding is going to be separate,
But sure would be, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll come out of different pockets. if
Well,
you will.
I'll
But we
draft
can talk.
behind you, Chair, for sure. But if you wanted to draft a couple of paragraphs for how you want to present that, I'll certainly make sure the right people see it in
Okay.
the city. Yeah,
It's good. Okay, we'll work on that.
my pleasure.
Thank you.
To that point, Chair, I tried to get speed humps on Rose Street years ago. I was informed by DTS that I needed to have approval of the majority of the lot owners, the housing owners, not just the residents, the owners themselves, in order to do this. I wasn't successful at that time to get everybody to agree. I'm just wondering if this is still the same requirement from DTS. If you can
I'm not certain how they conduct their studies. What I do understand is that they looked at collision information or collision reports, and it didn't appear that there was, enough collisions to justify, maybe lack of a better way to say that, to justify traffic calming measures in the area. But I think somebody asked, when was the last time the report was done? And I don't know the answer to that, but they typically, because there's an enormous number, we get these requests a lot within the city. And so typically they won't redo the report for about approximately 3 years, or unless there are significant changes in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But we can certainly bring it up again. Yeah.
Collisions are not the issue. Although there was one recently, sorry.
Yeah, well,
But the main issue is that there's a school and there's a bunch of kids and there's a bunch of heavy, fast traffic going up and down the street.
yeah, and we had an issue in Kalakaua just a few months ago, and it's like somebody said, you want to address the issue before we have a collision, particularly with the kids. So
And funding also could be sought through OMPO. This is, safe routes to school, that kind of stuff, through the
Yeah.
federal government. Yep.
we'll
Yeah.
keep pressing.
Yeah,
if you-
we'll be in contact for sure.
Okay, that
Because
sounds great.
we did like I said, several years ago, though, successfully get 7 streets with either speed humps or speed bumps. You know,
know-
there's a difference. One is a little flatter, the other is a little higher, so.
If we could coordinate before
Yep.
May 16th, just so I can get them, I'd
Oh,
love
yeah,
to get
of
them
course.
thinking about it before then.
Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
it's-
And I just want to, while we're talking about this, the Wahiawa Mayor's Town Hall meeting is on April 11th, actually. On this,
Oh, I'm sorry, I had,
on this one, it says,
The May
Eight-
one is the one at Wailua Elementary.
yeah. So
It's
this one-
Thursday, April
oh
11th.
gosh, you're right, I'm so sorry.
No, it's
I
okay. I just want
I
to.
wrote that down wrong.
It's okay.
Yeah, so it's
at-
April 11th.
Yeah, at 7 PM at Wahiawa
Yep,
Elementary.
At Wahiawa Elementary, yeah.
See you in Wailua on May 16th.
Look forward to that.
Okay.
Yes. I think
Okay.
one-
One follow-up question. Go ahead.
Sorry, Albertina again. I just had a quick question. I know that it would be for Rose Street, you know, it is 3 or 4 different concerns. However, I do feel that speed bumps will help to alleviate some of that traffic too, as far as dirt bike riders. But I also want to point out really quick that the dirt bike riders are not just, they're the ones that are, there's kids that's being disrespectful riding. There's plenty of dirt bike riders and they're very respectful and they go back there and it's fine. It's just, there's a few that just ruins it for the whole community and for everyone. But I do think that the speed bumps would help to alleviate that traffic too from the motorcyclists coming down. Sorry, I just felt like I had to say that because
Thanks for saying it. I
different
appreciate it.
funding.
No, that's good. But I do want to add one real quick question, because we went through this study when we, again, 6 or 7 years ago when we did it. But there was that issue of consideration that when you do put a speed hump or speed bump, that actually encourages some of the bike riders to, yeah, they want to, you know, especially if you're coming down a steep
they
hill
like it.
or,
Yeah.
so that comes into fact to play into the decision of what kind of, whether it's a speed hump or a speed bump, you know, and stuff.
I understand.
Yeah. So
I do
just keep that
think
in-
though, working with the Department of Education as well, bringing awareness to the kids in the school will also help. And, you know, we have a new principal there and he's doing great things there. You know, he's on our street, he's talking to the community. But I do think if we bring awareness to it, that would help to
Yeah.
alleviate, because we do have a public access point on Wahiawa Middle School. There is an access point to the lake there. So we cannot obstruct that walkway because that's for the community to go and get fishing. So no matter what way we do it, however we block these gates or whatever, they're gonna find a way to get through it. But
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Oh, June, thank you.
Concerning the collision report, I was on this board when Lemmy Street was being considered, and I don't recall anything being required an amount of collisions, because if you ever saw Lemmy Street, it's very short. So I don't think anybody else recalls something about collision report on Lemmy Street. I
When
don't
we
think.
did Lemmy Street and Lemmy
No,
Y,
but do you recall a collision report
no, that's
requirement?
that's what I'm trying to answer. So when we were working on Lemmy Street and Lemmy Y, we were asked, so we did get stats from HPD, but it wasn't like, it wasn't.
It
didn't
wasn't
have
a
to
high
be-
number.
No, yeah, it wasn't a large thing, but we did get that information from HPD at that time. So we did.
Yeah,
did
I
provide-
don't think that was an issue at that time, yeah.
Well, it was
really,
part
it
of
was-
it. We had to provide that information as part of the, you know.
Okay,
But I don't know if they still require it, but at that time they did ask, you know, so we got.
okay.
And it may not have been a report. I guess the references as, it was a review of the area's traffic collision history. And
Oh.
it didn't, you know, there weren't any findings that justified, you know, traffic, speed bumps that.
And
in that area.
hopefully they did it during the school month rather than the summertime.
I'm not certain, but the bottom line is it's a continuing and ongoing issue and.
Okay, we
needs
gotta
more
move
attention.
on. Sorry, everyone, we're really coming to 9 o'clock
just
already.
want to say one more thing. I'm sorry. We did have, you know what, the assessment, I don't know if this is the same assessment that the board was talking about last meeting, but the HPD did put up a big speed thing. You know, those things that tell you how fast you're going. If they're considering that, I don't know if that's the assessment that they're talking about, but if they're considering that a collision assessment, I don't know, but that's not, because when you put up that big speed sign, of course, when everyone sees that, they're gonna slow down.
Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything
let's-
else? Kevin, anything else? You're good?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we're gonna
Thank you,
wrap it
Chair.
up. Thank you very much. I know. Is council member here or virtually? Council member Wire? Is it? Oh, Kelly. Hi, Kelly.
Hello, Chair. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Again, Kelly Anaya from Councilmember Matt Wire's office. Thank you for having me. Just a couple updates. As you guys are probably aware, we're in budget season, so please be sure to get me any of your projects and or ideas so we can get that into the budget. I heard the testimony from the gentleman about the skate park, so I don't know if they're still there, but maybe if you could get me or give them my phone number so I can get in touch with them and maybe discuss this a little bit further. Then that way maybe we can try to get some funding in for that skate park, whether or not to expand it or to, I don't know, completely redo it. I don't know how would that would work, but if you could maybe just get them my number,
Sure,
I'll
I'll
give
get
it
it
to
for
you and I'll put in the chat as well.
Okay.
Also, couple of legislative updates. Resolution 23162, which would establish a city charter regarding a climate resiliency fund, was passed out in January. Likewise, Resolution 23239, which was introduced by Councilmember Wire, which would establish a minimum requirement or minimum qualifications rather for the Director of Emergency Management. These two proposed charter amendments would help to ensure that the city is prepared for, the increasing challenges regarding large weather events. Lastly, the Office of Climate Change and Sustainability is accepting applications for the Climate Champions Internship. This program is jointly hosted with other city organizations, and it's a part-time paid internship that lasts 4 months. And the average weekly work hours are about 5 to 20 hours per week, depending on the host site. So I'll go ahead and put a link to the site if you know anybody that wants to apply in the chat. And then so some of the other I guess concerns that had come up earlier, the lady that was talking about the Rose Street, so the last time DTS did a study was August of 2023. And yes, unfortunately, they didn't find any, I guess, any traffic hazards or safety concerns that would warrant the speed humps or bumps. As far as local drive, that study was done in August of 2022. And again, DTS determined that there wasn't, speed humps / bumps were not warranted. The only thing that they found were that some of the street signs were faded and or missing. So there's work orders in to replace those. I know that's not what she wants to hear, but that's what was responded back to our office from DTS. And then the other lady regarding Mango Street, I was out there last week, Friday, and I saw the, I guess, encampment that has started up again. So I did reach out to Achieve Zero. As far as I'm concerned, they still have control over the property and they're the ones that need to make the trespass report with HPD. So she did say that she was going to get on it and take care of that. So I'm not sure if she's done that already. This is last week, Friday, later in the afternoon. And I believe that is it for me. If anyone has any questions for council member, I can take them now.
Okay. Board members, just go ahead, Michelle.
Hi, Kelly. That study, if it was done in the beginning of August, it would have been when school is out. So
okay,
it's completely different, during school time.
I can ask DTS to maybe revisit that.
I mean,
can
just
ask.
taking her numbers, what she took, that's an incredible amount of people using that road. So, and then also, I don't know if this is yours, but the website for the Emergency Management Agency, they have on that website that the emergency siren A214 at Wahiawa High School. It's been needing maintenance according to that website for months.
I'm sorry, it's been reading what?
Maintenance. It's
Maintenance,
listed
okay.
as needing maintenance.
I
But
believe that's actually state, so, but I can look into it. So the siren next to Lelehua High School, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's number A214.
8214, okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, oh, June.
I'll bring this one up again. Today is the 18th of March. And as I came back into Wahiawa, I noticed that the traffic behind going into the safety check station on Kama Highway is backed up today. And it's only the 18th. So,
Okay.
and so I believe we have a future problem coming up because of the businesses that have closed down that were safety check stations. It's only the 18th.
Thank you, June. Oh,
Did you have a suggestion?
I don't know if we need to maybe get WCBA involved, get our elected officials involved, and probably this neighborhood board to find some kind of solution. It has to be private sector, one would think, where, if I'm not mistaken, we got that new repair shop that used to be the Aloha Termite. I don't see a safety check station sign there. And why did they choose not to do that? And, as an example, and, because we're losing them.
Probably they don't make enough money. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they don't make enough money. Maybe that's the reason why they don't want to do it. The other solution may be, can we get maybe Leeward College students to help out at the end somehow, towards the end of the month, as a part of a work and learning
Help
program?
out with
or
giving
something?
safety checks?
Yeah. You got to think out of the box. That's what I'm saying, before this thing becomes worse. Because it did become bad for motorcycles for a while there, and then they couldn't get anything. They had to, I think they only had one site or something that was doing it in Wahiawa.
Okay.
So just want to head off the problem before it becomes really critical.
Yeah, there is
Okay.
only one site that does safety inspections, but to be fair, it's not just that site that causes traffic. You have Wendy's and McDonald's and Taco Bell.
And Taco Bell, yeah.
It's not just them. And then when,
Yes.
it's payday,
I've
there's
seen them.
it's horrible. It's horrible. And I did bring up at the last meeting about turning right onto Olive Street from Kamehameha by McDonald's there. And the bus is a very good culprit. The bus goes straight rather than turning, and cars follow the bus. And I've seen so many almost collisions there. So I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how to remedy that situation, but it's becoming more and more prevalent. It's a matter of time before there are traffic accidents there.
I believe that might be under DOT because Camp Highway is under state.
Jerry Shikawa. Aloha, Kelly.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. So I just wanted to share some information to follow up on what Sylvia just said. That right turn, and anybody and everybody, I welcome you to walk the sidewalk in Wahiawa along Kamehameha. There are signs that say right turn only from right lane, except for city buses. So city buses are allowed to go straight. That's why there are no demarcations, no bollards, nothing like that along Kamehameha as you enter going through Olive Avenue. There are multiple signs there. And also with regard to the safety checks, the reason that the line is so long at the end of the month, or maybe even like Chair Yamamoto, Board Member Yamamoto said now, it's because people wait to the last minute. And no, we cannot hire students from Leeward Community College, because with the responsibility of being able to issue a safety check comes that big word called liability. So we appreciate the fact that we do still have businesses in Wahiawa that are able to issue safety checks. And I would just encourage everyone to not wait to the last minute. And one final thing, Kelly, Avocado Street is finally getting cleaned up. There were quite a number of trucks there today, as well as heavy equipment. And it looks like a lot of the rubbish has been moved. And we are going to keep our eyes out for bigger and better things in that property. So thank you, and thank Councilmember Matt Wire for all of the work that he's done to help us clean up that area.
Thank you, and to the community for your continued patience. I appreciate that.
Actually, they were cleaning up from last week. They had the big truck, the dumpster bins there too. So they were, yeah, they did good work. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, moving on, we are looking at Governor's Office. Hi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Rose Bernardo. I'll just keep this brief. On the topic of the Maui wildfire, the state is continuing to work closely with survivors of the wildfire, as well as the Federal Emergency Management Agency, to identify housing that fulfills each survivor's needs. Also on a separate topic of Kauhale, the Green Administration and its partners have recently opened Kauhale, one in Kaneohe and another on Middle Street in Kalihi. And this is their ongoing effort to address houselessness and homelessness in the state in their effort to reduce it by 50% in the governor's first term. So with that, I'll open it to any questions that I may take to the governor's office.
Go ahead, Michelle.
I have a question on homelessness. Is there enough beds for everybody that's homeless that the state or city or whoever provides, that if they want to get off the street, there is a bed for them?
At Kauhale specifically, or just in
Anywhere
general?
on the island.
Oh, okay, I can find out for you, ma'am.
Any other questions from the board? Questions from the community? Questions virtually? Okay, Rose, just one quick question. Of some of the things that you've heard tonight,
Yes.
regarding whether it's the homeless situation or whether it's the Wahiawa Middle School situation with this issue of dirt bikers and whatnot, is there something that the governor's office or the state can help us, assist us with those issues of direct impact to the community? I know we're talking to our city counterparts, but coming from the state side, is there any kind of support we could get in those areas of concern?
I'll find out for you, Chair.
Great. Thank you, because I think it's getting to be a larger issue for us, and it may not just be a city issue. It could become more, the state would need to get involved as well, since it involves the middle school, supposedly students in that area as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our Representative Peruso, if she's available. I'm sorry. Yeah. This way.
All right, y'all. I'm so excited to be doing this. I've been wanting to do this for like a year. Just to speak on behalf of what's been happening with the representative's office. So I wanted to speak one on the Wahiawa Value Added Center. Really just, I know it was brought up about the name, but when you see the inside of the facility. It's a super dense, super streamlined facility that has multiple different state-of-the-art machineries, and then even in its methodology and like what they try to put onto the small businesses of, you know, using discarded fruits or all of these things that really getting the best value out of what we have on the island to be more sustainable and self-sufficient. And then I wanted to speak a little bit on the bridge, the Whitmore Bridge. So it's unfortunately bad news. The contract for building and construction and planning, it's all in one contract. And so unfortunately it's set in stone and we can't back out of it. It's a legal binding contract. It's unfortunate, but that's what's moving forward. And then lastly, we just had our budget crossover. So HB 1800 is going to be the House budget proposal. It's not perfect, but we are really happy with how we were able to, within our constrained budget situation, make the best use of it and really support our public education. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, just a quick question, just a clarification. So the bridge project is confirmed, basically. You're saying there's no there's no other movement than for it to be developed?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the cost for that one? Do you recall for that?
I am not sure, but it's definitely in the millions.
It's currently at $35.2 million.
It was
go ahead,
brought
Michelle.
up- It was brought up a number of times, wanting that list of who wanted the bridge and
Mhm.
who didn't. Was that ever looked into?
A list of people that wanted the bridge. I believe we don't have the list because I don't think we wrote it down specifically. And that time of the meeting has passed, but I know that there was very little public support.
And actually, that list actually was a list that DOT had, and the request had been made multiple times to DOT. And while we're on the issue of the bridge, I would ask that DOT, again, attend one of our meetings, not just schedule it and then don't show up. But even if the bridge is going to be built, I think further conversation needs to be had about the safety of those people that will be using the bridge, because until I asked, I didn't know where the bridge was going to come out, what the foundation of the bridge is going to be like, whether or not it would have impact on the animals that are in the water, what impact it would have to the surrounding areas. And again, until I made the ask, the DOT was not very forthcoming with it.
No, definitely. Those are all big things. And I think that's definitely something that the representative from the governor's office can send back to DOT and then also see if Department of Transportation would be interested in joining and coming.
And Diego, just for everyone's edification, and Sibat, you would remember this, we had a community meeting on the bridge. We held one meeting at Whitmore, which was over 100 people. We had a meeting here, and it was over 100 people. And at both meetings, the vote was taken, and everyone had a chance to say 2 minutes to say their piece. And then the vote was taken, and we counted the votes. And on each side, it was all opposed except for one person. And come here, every vote was all opposed except for one person. And it happened to be the same person at both meetings. Remember that? It was
Yes, he was from the Kailua Bike League.
Yeah.
And it really saddens me that the community would come out on such an important issue, and yet our opinions and our voices were dismissed as if they were not even heard. And it really saddens me again. And I know Rep. Peruso's office, this is not this is not anything against your office, but it really is sad that again, a project that was so unsupported by our community residents, both here in Wahiawa and Whitmore, were literally shoved down our throats. And it really saddens me that this project is going to happen despite the opinions and the voices of the community that will be most affected by this project. Thank you.
Wait, thank, oh, go ahead, and then we're gonna move on.
Yeah, so are you aware of, I heard secondhand that landowners are receiving letters already to like vacate their land for the building of the project. So I don't know if you've heard anything about that.
Landowners,
Right, yeah, but other private property owners.
For-
I don't.
Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
We have
I'm sorry,
not been
Representative.
notified of any such notices. That has
Okay.
not been brought to our attention.
Okay, yeah, I heard it
If you-
secondhand.
If
so
you're
I'll
aware
have
of
to-
that, if you can
yeah.
share that information with our office, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to dig into it. Yeah, I just heard it secondhand. So I
I
know
would
the
also
facts about it.
add, yeah, okay, and then I would also add to Diego's report that the centralized kitchen for the DOE that is meant to be built in Whitmore Village. We've also had a lot of community conversations around that. Primarily because the footprint is so huge, it's the size of Hawaii Kai's Costco. And there is still the same one road in, one road out. That was taken off of the lapse list for the DOE. So if you've been reading newspaper accounts of the projects that the DOE lapsed, a few months ago that was on the lapse list, so it wasn't going to happen. And then it was somehow pulled off the lapse list and fast tracked. So it will be completed. It's my understanding that it's a design build contract as well, and that will be completed by the end of summer is what I was told. And I can go back and check those dates, but that project is also moving forward rapidly.
Thank you, Representative, and I do apologize, we kind of jumped over to your comments, and we haven't gotten Senator's representative to
Yeah,
do his
sorry,
report.
my
yet.
apologies.
It's okay. So if Aluri is there, can you give us a report, and then we'll go back to Representative.
Thank you, Diego.
Thanks, Chair. I'm filling in for Alori. My name is Jonah Uehara with Senator De La Cruz's office.
Hi, Jonah. Sorry about that. We kind of jumped all over the place. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
it's all good. It's all good. Very quickly, just following up on questions from the last neighborhood board meeting. Will the state's budget pose challenges to getting Wahiawa projects completed? So construction on existing projects will not be affected. However, projects not approved by the governor, such as the $19 million Hele Mono Elementary School library, may be postponed. Next question was, what is going to happen with the Recycling Redemption Center in Wahiawa? Reynolds plans to relocate to Mango Street Cafe parking lot on
Oh, stand by. We lost you, Jonah.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're back. So we just
Okay.
heard about Mango
One
Street.
three- Mango Street, okay. And then lastly, regarding the preservation of the Wahiawa Dam, ongoing efforts are focused on securing the purchase of Wahiawa irrigation system. This includes collaboration among government departments and stakeholders to expedite the acquisition process. Additionally, discussions are underway to allocate necessary funds for the required upgrades to the dam and spillway. And that is all I had, and I will open it up to questions.
Thank you, Jonah. Questions from the board? Yes, Michelle.
I know that you heard all the comments on the bridge and so forth. Is there anything Senator De La Cruz can do to stop the bridge since the community doesn't want it?
That's a great question. I will take that back to Senator De La Cruz's office. Thank you.
ahead, June.
For Senator De La Cruz, several years back, he agreed that safety was a concern at a speaking, it was actually for the Lions Club several years back. And he did mention that maybe, and I did ask him if maybe we should now, and this was a couple of years ago, start looking at the safety concerns after the, you know, what kind of security, if required or anything, towards the bridge, or, you know, or any type of mitigations, lighting, whatever, to where we could, you know, make it safer, because it looks like we are going to get it, right? It's going to come up. And
Right, absolutely. Yep.
so I'd like to remind him that he did say that.
Okay, I'll pass that along. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Go ahead. TJ.
Thank you. Hi, Jonah. Mahalo for your report tonight. Would you please repeat what you said about Reynolds coming to the Mango Street Grill parking lot, I think, Mango. Anyway,
Yes,
if you could
yes.
repeat that. And also, if you could also repeat the information that you gave right after that. Shucks, I just had a brain fart. You talked about something right after Mango about the Reynolds recycling. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the Reynolds plans to relocate to Mango Street Cafe parking lot on 103 Mango Street. 130 Mango Street. And then after that, I was talking about
When
the
will that
Wahiawa Dam.
start?
I'm sorry?
When will that begin for Reynolds?
Well, let me check my notes on that. I don't think.
And if you don't mind, if you do get something that you could post on social media or share on Senator's website, because there have been a lot of discussion about when Reynolds and where is Reynolds going to be next. And the other question that I had was about the dam.
Yes.
Do we know what it's going to cost us to purchase the dam and the surrounding areas as will be needed?
I don't have that in my notes off the top of my head, but I will get that answer for you. And in regards to the relocation of Reynolds to its new location, I don't have a date on that, so I will get back to you on that as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
So on the reynoldsrecycling.com website, it says that 130 Mango Street's going to open on March 24th, 2024. That's on their website.
March 24th. Thank you very much for that. Okay, any
Yes,
other
thank you.
questions from the board? Questions from the community?
Jonah, I just want to say that I know basically our voice of community is nothing to when the government want to do something, whether oppose or yes or no. A community say no for this project, but the government still have to say, who care about you guys? You're not living there. We want to do the project. We want to do it. Whether you agree or not agree. This is part of what happening right now. You know what I mean? We're having meeting two community. We got Wahiawa, we got Whitmore, try to stop this project, and yet it's still going on with without consider our need. When he built the bridge, you think De La Cruz gonna use that bridge? He gonna walk that bridge? He's not gonna walk that bridge because because he already make the decision to make that the bridge, so he wanna keep on going, so that bridge will be there. So people will say, hey, this bridge built by De La Cruz, but actually that's not useless. It uses a way that we don't need that bridge. How many people walking to Wahiawa to Whitmore every day? None. Right? So that money should be given to the hospital or give to some Lahaina or something that make something that useful for people, not using that bridge. How many environmental impact on that bridge? You know how severe it is. I talked to the contractor. He want to use my land to stage their equipment, and I told him, show me how I'm going to do it. He said, going to cut down this bank to build all these to hold down all this bridge. So basically the river bank going to be cut down to a side. So erosion going to be so much erosion control. All of our trees and all of our plant on a natural plant going to be destroyed. Because basically it's a disaster on our Wilson Lake and then the river over there. So it's very, very tremendous way of building it. It's not that easy because you build across that long river. So they have no way they can just go through it. So they have to cut, sizing down all the thing to make a foundation. So nobody see the plan. Our dredging is doing that. So he shared me with all this information. So that's why we are trying to stop them, but too late now. So everything is going on. So our voice is basically useless. We're having a meeting twice over there and just say no and it's going on meeting. So it's just something that we don't know what to do with.
Thank you, Siba. Any other comments from the board? Any comments from or questions from the community virtually for Senator's office? Okay, seeing none. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Okay, and calling on Representative Peruso.
Yes. Oops. Hi.
Hi, Representative.
Sorry. So I was just making myself available for questions. I think Diego did a great job handling our office's report. And I did want to reiterate the House budget has taken an approach that is, I think, productive to our current fiscal situation. You know, I'm sure that if you've been reading the newspapers, you've heard that there's been a call to ask every state department and agency to cut its base budget by 10 to 15%. And I know that all of these departments and agencies are going through that very painful process. And I also know that for the DOE, an 8% cut means furloughs. So that is really drastic. And I am grateful to the House leadership for crafting a budget that avoids that approach and identifies other monies that we can use without cutting into the base budget of the departments and still maintaining funding for public education. So I just wanted to emphasize that. But if you have any questions, I'm available, but also super grateful for Diego and want to encourage him to continue reporting and sharing for our office.
You did a good job. Thank you, Representative. Questions from the board? Questions from the community? Questions virtually for Representative Peruso? Hearing none. Thank you, Representative.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we are on item 8 of our agenda for board business. First item on the agenda for item A is approval of minutes. Regular meeting minutes of Monday, January 22nd and Friday, February 26th. Also the amended minutes of the November 20th meeting, because we did get some comments on that. So we have 3 minutes to review and to comment and vote on. Again, regular meeting minutes of Monday, January 22nd, February 26th, and the amended minutes of Monday, November 20th. Have a vote of acceptance.
Madam Chair, I say we accept them as is.
Second. We have a first and a second to accept the regular meeting minutes of January 22nd, February 26th, and also the amended minutes of Monday, November 20th. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are accepted. Moving on to Chair's report and board agenda. Call for disclosures by any board members. Any meetings that you attended that you need to disclose? None? Okay, hearing none, moving on to board actions and discussion. Well, we already had a presentation from Wahiawa General Hospital. We will be in recess for the month of April, but we do plan to have a community meeting with Wahiawa General Hospital. When we find that date, we will publish it on the Neighborhood Commission website. Just look under the Neighborhood Board number 26, and there would be an announcement. Again, we are trying to schedule a meeting so that the community as a whole can hear the current status of affairs. Committee reports, education, Sylvia. Are you preparing for our May meeting okay. So everyone, just so you know, our tradition continues for our May recognition of our mighty mules. So that will be at the May meeting. Military, as you heard, we'll be working with the military to work or have a discussion on Rose Street. Transportation Ampo Joe has left. We will get a report from him. Water, same thing. And Hawaiian Affairs Dean is not here tonight. So moving on to announcements, we will go down from A, B, and the following. So I'll do A, Sylvia do B, Michelle do C, TJ do D, can't see June E. We'll just rotate it straight down. So board meetings announcement A, the Wahiawa Whitmore Village Neighborhood Board number 26 will be on recess for the month of April 2024. However, a special community meeting regarding the Wahiawa General Hospital will be scheduled during the month of April 2024. Please check the Neighborhood Commission office for Neighborhood Board 26 meeting updates. Go ahead.
B, U.S. Army February Training Advisory, March 1st to the 23rd, 2024. Artillery and Motor Live Fire, Schofield, Day, Night, and Live Fire. March 4th through the 31st, 2024. East Range Wrangler / Jungle Tactics Small Arms Blank Fire, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Friday, March 22nd, 2024. Aviation Rappelling Extraction Training, Schofield, during the day.
C, 66th Guinea Orchid Show and Plant Sale 2024 at Leilehua High School Gymnasium on Friday, March 22nd, 2024, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, March 23rd at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
The City and County of Honolulu's Office of Climate Change, Sustainability and Resiliency's Flood Risk Survey is available for all Oahu residents through Monday, April 1st, 2024 at www.resilientoahu.org/get-flood-ready.
Mayor's Town Hall for Wahiawa Mililani Mauka. It's Thursday, April 11th, 2024, of course. 7 p.m. at the Wahiawa Elementary School.
Sharing.
Are you reading G?
Okay, F. Oh, G. The cities. The city's People's Open Market. Tuesdays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Wahiawa District Park. Note, People's Open Market is temporarily being held on the Kilani Ave side. I don't know if that's true anymore.
That's not current. It's actually off of California Avenue.
Yeah.
Information contacts. City Streets Pothole Hotline, number 768-7777. State Streets Pothole Hotline, number 536-7852. Hart Maintained Roads Pothole Hotline, number 566-2299. City's Refuge Inspector Office, number 768-5220. Schofield Noise Complaints, number 656-3487. Email usaghi.comrel@gmail.com or the 25th Infantry Division Public Affairs Office at 808-655 4756 or email usaghi.comrel@gmail.com.
Thank you, everyone. And this message, I want to make sure we read it. It's important. So we want to thank everyone for being here, for participating in our neighborhood board meetings. We appreciate your presence and your support, and we thank you for caring about our Wahiawa Whitmore communities. This is where we call home, and this is where we take care of one another. Kekahi I kekahi. So aloha and peace. Have a safe drive home. And the meeting is adjourned.